Something big is coming to you by dawn. Not because the night is magical by itself, not because life suddenly changes without your participation, but because there are moments when heaven prepares the heart before it opens the door. There are moments when God begins the answer in the unseen before the world can recognize it in the visible. There are moments when your mind, your faith, your words, and your spirit finally come into agreement. And when that happens, something begins to move. Before we go deeper, write this in the comments with faith. Something big is coming to me by dawn. Do not write it as a superstition. Do not write it as an empty phrase. Write it as a declaration that your mind is ready, your heart is open, and your spirit refuses to remain trapped in yesterday's fear. Because tonight is not just another night. This may be the night when your anxiety loses its authority over you. This may be the night when the old version of you begins to dissolve. This may be the night when the idea, the opportunity, the clarity, the courage, or the divine direction you have been praying for begins to rise inside you like the first light of morning. There is a reason you were drawn to this message. There is a reason those words touched something inside you. Something big is coming to you by dawn. Not always in the way the impatient mind demands, not always as money falling from the sky or a door opening without preparation. Sometimes the biggest thing God sends before dawn is a renewed mind. Sometimes it is a sudden peace after weeks of pressure. Sometimes it is an instruction so clear that it changes your next decision. Sometimes it is a divine interruption that redirects your path before you waste another season in the wrong place. And sometimes, yes, it is the very breakthrough you have been asking for, but to receive it, you must understand the sacred power of the night. The night is where most people lose the battle in their minds. They lie down with worry. They rehearse what went wrong. They replay conversations. They imagine failure. They scroll through fear, comparison, noise, and distraction, then wonder why they wake up heavy, confused, and spiritually drained. But the night was never meant to be a place of mental torment. The night was designed to become a sanctuary, a hidden chamber, a sacred doorway between what you live today and what you are preparing to become tomorrow. Scripture says that weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. That verse is not only poetry, it is a spiritual pattern. The night may hold tears, but it does not own the morning. The night may carry pressure, but it does not have the final word. The night may feel silent, but silence is not absence. Sometimes silence is preparation. Napoleon Hill taught that the subconscious mind never rests. While the conscious mind sleeps, the deeper mind continues to work, organize, connect, and respond to the dominant thoughts, emotions, and beliefs impressed upon it. That means the final thoughts you take into sleep are not small. They are instructions. They are seeds. They are spiritual and mental commands carried into the hidden hours. So the question is not only, what do you want by dawn? The deeper question is, what are you planting before you sleep? Because dawn answers the night. If the night is filled with fear, the morning often carries confusion. If the night is filled with resentment, the morning carries heaviness. If the night is filled with gratitude, faith, vision, and surrender, the morning begins differently. You rise with a different atmosphere around you. Your thoughts become clearer. Your energy shifts. Your decisions sharpen. You begin to notice what you used to ignore. And that is how miracles often begin. Not with noise, but with awareness. Not with panic, but with peace. Not with force, but with alignment. Tonight, you are being invited to stop sleeping like someone defeated and start resting like someone who is being prepared. There is a version of you that has been waiting beneath all the worry. A stronger version, a wiser version, a more faithful version. A version that does not beg life for permission to rise. A version that understands that God did not create you to be ruled by fear, trapped by lack, or buried under the opinions of people who cannot see your calling. That version of you does not awaken by accident. It awakens when you begin to speak differently to your own soul. Say quietly within yourself, I am not ending this day in fear. I am entering the night in faith. I am not carrying tomorrow with anxiety. I am placing tomorrow in God's hands. I am not sleeping as a victim of circumstances. I am resting as a person being guided, strengthened, and prepared. Feel those words. Do not rush them. The mind changes when words are repeated with emotion. The heart changes when truth is spoken with faith. Napoleon Hill said that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But belief is not born from a single thought. Belief is built through repetition, emotion, imagination, and inner certainty. That is why tonight matters, because before dawn, your subconscious mind will work with whatever you give it. If you give it fear, it will search for more reasons to fear. If you give it faith, it will search for pathways of possibility. If you give it images of failure, it will prepare your nervous system to expect defeat. If you give it images of victory, peace, provision, and divine guidance, it begins to align your perception with those realities. This is not about pretending problems do not exist. Faith is not denial. Faith is dominion. Faith does not say, "There is no storm." Faith says, "God is greater than the storm." Faith does not say, "I have no challenges." Faith says, "I am not alone inside these challenges." Faith does not say, "I see the whole path." Faith says, "I trust the one who does." And when that faith enters the mind before sleep, the night becomes holy. There are people who will wake up tomorrow with the same fears, because tonight they are feeding the same thoughts. There are people who will wake up tomorrow with the same resentment, because tonight they are replaying the same wounds. There are people who will wake up tomorrow with the same limits, because tonight they are rehearsing the same identity. But you are hearing this now, because your pattern is being interrupted. Something big is coming to you by dawn, but it begins with what you allow to come through you before sleep. A new thought, a new declaration, a new surrender, a new agreement with God. The Bible says, "As a man thinks in his heart, so is he." Not as he wishes casually, not as he complains loudly, not as he pretends publicly, as he thinks in his heart. The hidden pattern becomes the visible life. So tonight, do not only ask for a bigger blessing, become a bigger vessel. Ask yourself, what would I think tonight if I truly believed God was already working? What would I feel tonight if I truly believed the answer was closer than it appears? What would I release tonight if I truly believed that I do not need to control everything for everything to work together for good? This is where the shift begins, not in the noise of the world, inside you. And when the shift begins inside you, the outside world begins to respond in ways you could not predict. Maybe tomorrow you will wake up with one idea that solves a problem you have carried for months. Maybe you will feel led to call someone, send a message, apply for something, create something, apologize, forgive, begin again, or finally stop chasing what has been draining your spirit. Maybe the big thing coming by dawn is not the final result, but the first divine instruction that leads to it. Never despise instruction. Many people pray for miracles, but ignore the instruction that would lead them there. God often answers through direction before manifestation. Before the Red Sea opened, there was an instruction to move forward. Before the walls of Jericho fell, there was an instruction to march. Before Peter walked on water, there was one word, "Come." Before provision multiplied, there was something placed in the hands and blessed. So tonight, open yourself not only to receive a blessing, but to recognize guidance. Say within yourself, "Lord, make me sensitive to the instruction that carries my breakthrough." That sentence alone can change the way you sleep, because the mind that sleeps in surrender wakes with direction. Many people are exhausted because they are trying to force what only alignment can attract. They push, chase, worry, compare, and overthink. They confuse movement with progress. But there is a difference between anxious action and inspired action. Anxious action is born from fear. Inspired action is born from faith. Anxious action drains you. Inspired action strengthens you. Anxious action says, "I must make everything happen or I will be forgotten." Inspired action says, "I will do my part with excellence and I will trust God with what I cannot control." Napoleon Hill taught the importance of definite purpose. A person without a clear inner aim is easily controlled by fear, distraction, and the opinions of others. But a person with a definite purpose becomes focused. Their mind begins to organize around that purpose. Their choices become sharper. Their energy becomes more disciplined. Tonight, your purpose does not need to be complicated. Your purpose can be this: I will not carry fear into my future. I will not keep speaking against my own destiny. I will not keep sleeping with a mind full of defeat and waking up expecting victory. I will prepare my inner world for the life I am asking God to help me build. That is purpose. That is power. That is maturity. Now pause for a moment and write in the comments, I am ready for what God is preparing for me. Let that be your agreement. Let it be your witness. Someone else reading your words may feel their own faith rise again. Your declaration may become the spark that reminds another person that their night is not the end of their story. Because this message is not only about receiving something, it is about becoming someone. Something big is coming to you by dawn, but you must stop identifying with smallness. Stop calling yourself unlucky. Stop saying nothing ever works for me. Stop repeating that you are behind, broken, forgotten, cursed, blocked, or too late. Those words are not harmless. They are agreements. They train your mind to expect more of the same. They create a prison inside the imagination. And once the imagination is imprisoned, the life begins to shrink. But when imagination is healed by faith, life begins to expand. See yourself differently tonight. Not as someone begging for a place at the table, but as someone being prepared for a purpose. Not as someone abandoned by heaven, but as someone being refined. Not as someone who missed every chance, but as someone whose next season can still be greater than the last. The story is not over because you had a difficult chapter. The promise is not cancelled because you had a painful season. The seed is not dead because it was buried in darkness. Sometimes what looks like burial is actually planting, and dawn is the proof that darkness has limits. No night lasts forever. No season of confusion has the authority to stop God from bringing light. Your responsibility is to stop making permanent conclusions in temporary darkness. Do not decide your destiny while your emotions are tired. Do not judge your future based on one hard day. Do not let one delay convince you that God has denied you. Delay is not denial. Silence is not rejection. Preparation is not punishment. Sometimes the door does not open yet because your strength is still being built. Sometimes the answer waits because your discernment is still being sharpened. Sometimes God hides you before He highlights you because exposure without maturity can destroy what blessing was meant to build. So tonight, trust the hidden work. Trust what you cannot see. The roots grow in darkness before the fruit appears in light. Napoleon Hill studied people who achieved extraordinary things, and one pattern appeared again and again. They had the ability to hold a vision before there was evidence. They could see internally what had not yet appeared externally. They refused to let temporary circumstances erase the picture planted in their minds. That is not fantasy when it is joined with faith, purpose, and action. That is creative vision. The Bible says that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith gives substance to what the senses cannot yet confirm. Faith says, I may not see it yet, but I will not betray it with my words. I may not hold it yet, but I will prepare my heart for it. I may not understand the timing, but I will not poison the process with fear. This is the mindset of the person who rises. This is the mindset of the person who receives. This is the mindset of the person who can say, something big is coming to me by dawn, not as desperation, but as agreement with a higher reality. Tonight, before you sleep, there are 3 doors inside you that must open. The first door is release. You cannot receive with clenched fists. You cannot welcome the new while worshipping the old pain. You cannot carry yesterday's offense into tomorrow's blessing and expect peace to meet you there. Release does not mean what happened was acceptable. Release means it no longer has permission to control your inner world. Release the person who misunderstood you. Release the fear that you are running out of time. Release the shame of the mistake you made. Release the need to know every detail before you trust. Release the version of you that believed suffering was your identity. Say softly, I release what is too heavy for my soul. I release what God never asked me to carry. I release fear, resentment, shame, and confusion. I make room for peace. I make room for wisdom. I make room for the new. The second door is expectation. Expectation is not pressure. It is spiritual posture. It is the quiet confidence that God can still surprise you. It is waking up with inner openness instead of emotional defeat. It is not demanding how the blessing must appear. It is trusting that the answer may come in a form you did not expect. Some blessings come as opportunities. Some come as protection from what you wanted. Some come as a conversation. Some come as a closed door that saves your future. Some come as the courage to begin again. Some come as money, healing, reconciliation, clarity, favor, or a sudden inner peace. Do not limit the form. Expect the goodness. Say, I expect divine guidance. I expect wisdom. I expect favor. I expect alignment. I expect peace. I expect the right doors to open and the wrong doors to close. I expect God to lead me better than my fear can predict. The third door is identity. You do not attract what you desire only through words. You begin to move toward what you accept as true about yourself. If deep down you believe you are unworthy, you may sabotage what you pray for. If deep down you believe abundance is for others, you may reject opportunities without noticing. If deep down you believe peace is impossible, you may keep choosing chaos because it feels familiar. That is why identity must be renewed. Scripture says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Not by the punishing of your mind, not by the hating of yourself. By renewal. Renewal means you stop agreeing with the voice that calls you defeated and start agreeing with the voice of God that calls you chosen, strengthened, guided, and capable of rising. Say, I am not who fear says I am. I am not who failure says I am. I am not who rejection says I am. I am becoming who God created me to be. I am guided. I am strengthened. I am prepared. I am open to receive what belongs to my purpose. Let those words sink deeper than motivation. Let them become medicine. Because the soul does not only need excitement, the soul needs truth. And truth repeated with faith becomes an inner foundation. There is something powerful about the hours before dawn. The world is quiet. The noise decreases. The mind becomes more sensitive. Many people wake in the early hours and think it is random, but sometimes the spirit is being called into stillness. Sometimes the heart is being invited to pray. Sometimes the mind is being given space to hear what daylight distractions would drown out. Before dawn, Jacob wrestled until he received a blessing. Before dawn, Jesus often withdrew into prayer. Before dawn, new mercies are already preparing to meet the day. The morning has always carried the language of renewal, so when you hear something big is coming to you by dawn, do not only think of an external event. Think of a divine transition. Think of the old night losing authority. Think of the inner atmosphere shifting. Think of your spirit moving from pressure into peace, from confusion into clarity, from fear into faith. The big thing may begin as a whisper, but do not underestimate a whisper from God. A whisper can redirect a life. A whisper can save you from a wrong decision. A whisper can give you one idea that becomes provision. A whisper can remind you that you are not alone. Napoleon Hill spoke about the sixth sense, the intuitive faculty that becomes stronger when the mind is disciplined by faith, purpose, and positive emotion. Whether you call it intuition, divine guidance, inner knowing, or spiritual discernment, there is a quiet intelligence that becomes clearer when fear becomes quieter. Fear is loud, but it is not wise. Faith is often quiet, but it carries direction. That is why tonight you must make room for quiet. Not every breakthrough is found in more information. Sometimes you do not need another video, another opinion, another sign, another person telling you what to do. Sometimes you need silence long enough for your own spirit to stop shaking. Sometimes you need to hear the voice beneath the noise. Before sleep, turn down the world, place your hand over your heart, and breathe slowly. Let your body know it is safe to rest. Let your mind know it does not need to solve every problem tonight. Let your soul know that God is still working, then speak, not loudly but deeply. Say, I am ready to receive clarity. I am ready to receive peace. I am ready to receive the answer that aligns with my purpose. I am ready to be led. I am ready for the new thing God is doing. Something big is coming to me by dawn, and I will be awake in spirit to recognize it. This kind of declaration changes the atmosphere inside you. And when the atmosphere inside you changes, your interpretation of life changes. Many people miss blessings because their inner atmosphere is trained to expect disappointment. A person can receive an opportunity and call it impossible. They can meet a helper and call it coincidence. They can receive a warning and ignore it. They can feel peace about a step and dismiss it because fear asks for more proof. But when your mind is renewed, you begin to recognize favor. You see the door. You hear the instruction. You notice the pattern. You stop chasing what drains you. You stop begging for what God is trying to free you from. You stop confusing delay with defeat, and you begin to move like someone who knows that heaven is not against them. That is a big shift. For some of you, the big thing coming by dawn is emotional freedom. You have been carrying a heaviness that no one sees. You smile, but your mind has been tired. You keep moving, but your spirit has been asking for rest. You keep saying you are okay, but deep inside, you are waiting for a sign that life can still change. This is that sign, not a sign to do nothing, a sign to come back into agreement with faith, a sign to stop feeding the fear that has been feeding on you, a sign to speak life over the place that has been silent for too long, a sign to believe that God can still bring water from a rock, light from darkness, and direction from confusion. For others, the big thing coming by dawn is a decision you have delayed because fear made you doubt yourself. You already know what you need to stop. You already know what you need to begin. You already know which environment is weakening your spirit. You already know which habit is stealing your future. You already know which step requires courage. Tonight, the decision becomes clear. And clarity is a form of blessing, because confusion is expensive. It costs time, energy, peace, focus, and sometimes destiny. When God gives clarity, He gives you back your strength. For someone listening, the big thing coming by dawn is a new level of discipline. Not punishment, not pressure, but sacred discipline. The discipline to protect your mind, the discipline to guard your words, the discipline to wake up and pray before checking the world, the discipline to write the vision, the discipline to save, learn, build, forgive, exercise wisdom, and move with purpose. A blessing without discipline can be wasted, but discipline turns blessing into legacy. Napoleon Hill emphasized persistence, not frantic effort, but steady, definite, emotionally charged persistence. The kind of persistence that says, I may bend, but I will not break. I may rest, but I will not quit. I may need guidance, but I will not surrender my purpose to fear. God can give the seed, but you must cultivate the soil. Tonight, cultivate the soil. Pull out the weeds of complaint. Pull out the weeds of bitterness. Pull out the weeds of self-rejection. Pull out the weeds of comparison. Stop measuring your dawn by someone else's timeline. Their morning is not your morning. Their process is not your process. Their blessing is not proof that you were forgotten. The sun rises for each place at its appointed time. Your dawn has an appointed time too, and when it comes, it will not ask permission from those who doubted you. Now take a breath and comment, my dawn is appointed. That phrase is simple, but it carries strength. My dawn is appointed. My renewal is appointed. My answer is appointed. My next level is appointed. My peace is appointed. My breakthrough is appointed. Let the comment section become a wall of faith, not empty noise, but living declarations from people who have decided that the night will not define them. There is a powerful biblical pattern that must be understood. God often does His deepest work before the visible change arrives. David was anointed before he became king. Joseph had dreams before he entered the palace. Moses was formed in the wilderness before he stood before Pharaoh. Jesus was hidden in preparation before his public ministry began. Hidden seasons are not wasted seasons. The unseen is where capacity is built, and this is why you must not despise tonight. Tonight may look ordinary, but ordinary nights can become turning points when faith enters them. The room may look the same, the bed may be the same, the problems may appear the same, but the inner agreement can change, and once the agreement changes, the direction changes. The old agreement was, I am stuck. The new agreement is, I am being prepared. The old agreement was, nothing works for me. The new agreement is, God is teaching me how to move with wisdom. The old agreement was, I am too late. The new agreement is, I am on time for what has my name on it. The old agreement was, I am alone. The new agreement is, God is with me in the unseen. Do you feel how different that is? This is not just positive thinking. This is spiritual reprogramming. This is the renewing of the mind. This is taking every thought captive and refusing to let fear become your prophet. Fear predicts disaster. Faith prepares for promise. Fear says, "What if it fails?" Faith says, "What if this is the beginning?" Fear says, "Protect yourself from disappointment." Faith says, "Open your heart to obedience." Fear says, "You cannot." Faith says, "With God, strength rises where weakness used to speak." Tonight, your words must become aligned with your faith. Do not say, "I know this will never happen." Say, "I am open to divine possibility." Do not say, "I always lose." Say, "I am learning to walk in wisdom and favor." Do not say, "I am cursed." Say, "I am being redeemed, restored, and redirected." Do not say, "I have nothing." Say, "I have breath, faith, time, seed, and the ability to begin again." Do not say it is over. Say, "God can still write another chapter," because words are not just sounds. Words shape attention. Attention shapes emotion. Emotion shapes belief. Belief shapes action. Action shapes destiny. Napoleon Hill understood this when he taught the practice of autosuggestion. He believed that repeated words, charged with emotion, impress the subconscious mind and eventually influence behavior, perception, confidence, and results. In spiritual language, this is why declarations matter. Not because your words replace God, but because your words reveal what you are agreeing with. Are you agreeing with fear or faith? Are you agreeing with lack or provision? Are you agreeing with defeat or renewal? Are you agreeing with the past or the promise? Tonight, choose your agreement. Say, "I agree with peace. I agree with wisdom. I agree with divine timing. I agree with restoration. I agree with favor. I agree with the new thing God is doing in me." Now imagine dawn. Not just the sunlight outside, but the dawn inside your chest. Imagine waking up without the same tightness in your spirit. Imagine opening your eyes and feeling that something has shifted, not because every circumstance changed overnight, but because you changed the way you stand before them. Imagine receiving a thought that feels like a key. Imagine feeling the courage to take one step you have delayed. Imagine noticing an opportunity that was always near, but your fear was too loud to see it. That is how change often arrives. It begins as a new state, then a new perception, then a new decision, then a new action, then a new result. People want results without changing states, but the state is the root. The visible fruit follows the invisible root. This is why Jesus often spoke to the inner condition. Believe, fear not, have faith, be made whole, rise, follow me. The command was not only external, it awakened identity. Rise. That word still carries power. Rise from the bed of fear. Rise from the identity of defeat. Rise from the mental grave where disappointment tried to bury your expectation. Rise from the old story. Rise from the need to be understood by everyone. Rise from the habit of rehearsing pain. Rise into the morning that God is preparing. Something big is coming to you by dawn, and part of it is the command to rise. Rise in thought before you rise in circumstance. Rise in faith before you rise in evidence. Rise in identity before you rise in visibility. A person who rises within cannot remain buried without. There is a sacred practice you can use tonight before you sleep. Do not make it complicated. Transformation does not always need complexity. It needs sincerity and consistency. First, create silence. Turn off the noise. Let your room become a place of peace. Do not end your day feeding your mind with conflict, fear, gossip, comparison, or anger. Protect the gate of your mind. The last thing you consume often becomes the first thing your subconscious works with. Second, breathe slowly. Inhale with the thought, God is with me. Exhale with the thought, I release fear. Do this until your body begins to understand that peace is allowed here. Third, review the day with gratitude. Not because everything was perfect, but because gratitude trains the mind to recognize grace. Say thank you for what protected me. Thank you for what taught me. Thank you for what did not destroy me. Thank you for what is still being prepared. Fourth, speak your declaration. Say, something big is coming to me by dawn. I receive wisdom. I receive peace. I receive divine direction. I receive the courage to obey. I receive the strength to begin again. I receive the ideas, connections, opportunities, and clarity aligned with my purpose. Fifth, visualize yourself waking up renewed. See yourself calm. See yourself guided. See yourself making the right decision. See yourself walking with confidence. See yourself not begging for validation, but moving with quiet authority. See yourself receiving good news, recognizing favor, and acting with wisdom. Sixth, surrender. Say, Lord, I have spoken in faith, and now I rest in trust. I do not need to force the dawn. I will allow you to prepare what I cannot see, then sleep, not in fear, in trust. This is how the night becomes a womb for the morning, and when you wake, pay attention. Do not rush immediately into noise. Do not hand your first thoughts to the world. Before touching your phone, place your mind in alignment again. Say, this is the day the Lord has made. I will receive it with faith. I am ready for divine guidance. I am ready for the big thing God is bringing into my life, whether it comes as peace, clarity, opportunity, protection, provision, or instruction. That morning posture matters, because some people receive answers and miss them because they wake up distracted. They ask for guidance at night and drown it out by morning. They ask for peace and immediately feed the mind with chaos. They ask for opportunity and then walk through the day with closed eyes. Do not do that tomorrow. Wake like someone expecting to recognize grace. Move slowly enough to discern. Listen deeply enough to notice. Act courageously enough to respond. A blessing ignored can look like nothing happened, but a blessing recognized can change everything. There is also something you need to understand about resistance. Whenever a new level approaches, old fears often rise. Not because you are failing, but because the old identity feels threatened. If you begin to believe something big is coming, the old voice may say, do not get your hopes up. If you begin to expect good, the old wound may say, remember what happened last time. If you begin to speak faith, the old pattern may say, who do you think you are? Do not be surprised by that voice, but do not obey it. That voice is not prophecy, it is memory, and memory must not become your master. The past can teach you, but it cannot lead you into promise unless it has been healed. If pain leads you, it will always choose protection over purpose. If fear leads you, it will always choose comfort over calling. If shame leads you, it will always choose hiding over growth. Let faith lead you now. Faith may tremble, but it still steps forward. Faith may not have all the answers, but it knows who holds the future. Faith may feel small like a seed, but seeds do not need to be large to be alive. Jesus said faith, like a mustard seed, can move mountains. A seed is small, but it carries a future inside it. Tonight your declaration may feel small. Your prayer may feel simple. Your hope may feel fragile. But if it is alive, God can work with it. Do not mock your small faith. Offer it. God multiplies what is surrendered. One small prayer can begin a new season. One honest decision can break a cycle. One night of true surrender can interrupt years of anxiety. One dawn can carry a mercy you did not know how to ask for. Something big is coming to you by dawn. Say it again inside your heart. Something big is coming to me by dawn. And let your definition of big become sacred. Big does not always mean loud. Big does not always mean public. Big does not always mean dramatic. Big means meaningful. Big means aligned. Big means carrying divine weight. Big means something that shifts the direction of your life. Peace can be big. Clarity can be big. A healed thought can be big. A closed door can be big. A new idea can be big. A divine connection can be big. The courage to stop can be big. The courage to start can be big. Forgiveness can be big. Discipline can be big. A warning can be big. Favor can be big. Provision can be big. Do not miss the big, because it arrives in a form your ego did not expect. God often wraps transformation in simplicity. A thought, a sentence, a conversation, a morning, a decision, a quiet knowing. That is why your spirit must be attentive. Tonight is not about demanding that life obey your impatience. Tonight is about aligning so deeply with faith that when the answer arrives, you are not too distracted to receive it. Now let us go deeper into the mental law behind this. Your mind is always moving toward the image you hold most consistently. If you repeatedly imagine loss, rejection, failure, and struggle, Your mind begins to filter reality through those expectations. You notice threats faster than opportunities. You hesitate when you should move. You shrink when you should speak. You delay when you should begin. But when you repeatedly imagine wisdom, favor, peace, provision, courage, and divine guidance, your mind begins to search for evidence that supports possibility. You notice open doors. You interpret challenges with more strength. You become emotionally available for solutions. You stop wasting energy on imagined disasters and start investing energy into prepared action. This is why visualization is powerful when joined with faith, not fantasy. Faith-filled imagination. Napoleon Hill called imagination the workshop of the mind. It is where the plans of possibility are formed before they become visible. Scripture also begins creation with divine speech and vision. Let there be light. Before light appeared in form, it existed in command. Your life also responds to the commands you continue to carry. What command has been ruling you? Maybe the hidden command has been survive. Maybe it has been avoid pain. Maybe it has been do not trust. Maybe it has been stay small. Maybe it has been expect rejection. Maybe it has been work hard but never receive. Tonight, replace the command. The new command is rise. The new command is receive. The new command is trust. The new command is prepare. The new command is walk by faith. The new command is something big is coming and I am becoming the person who can steward it well. That last part matters. Steward it well. Because every blessing carries responsibility. If money comes, wisdom must manage it. If opportunity comes, discipline must meet it. If love comes, healing must protect it. If influence comes, character must carry it. If peace comes, boundaries must preserve it. If a door opens, courage must walk through it. So tonight, do not only pray, bless me. Pray, prepare me. Do not only pray, open the door. Pray, make me wise enough to enter with humility, strength, and clarity. Do not only pray, send it. Pray, shape me into someone who will not destroy what you send. That prayer is powerful because it moves you from childish wanting into mature receiving. There are blessings you can only keep when your inner life has been strengthened enough to carry them. This is not because God is withholding goodness cruelly. It is because love prepares the vessel. A weak foundation cannot hold a tall building. A confused mind cannot steward a clear calling. A bitter heart cannot protect a beautiful relationship. An undisciplined life cannot maintain expanded provision. So if you are in preparation, honor it. Preparation is proof that purpose is being taken seriously. Tonight may be part of your preparation. This message may be part of your preparation. The comment you write, the prayer you whisper, the thought you choose, the fear you release, the plan you write tomorrow morning, all of it may be part of the turning. And there will be a moment when you look back and realize the shift started quietly. It started the night you stopped agreeing with defeat. It started the night you decided your mind would no longer be a graveyard of old fears. It started the night you spoke life before there was evidence. It started the night you believed that dawn still belonged to you. For someone listening, your dawn will come as peace after inner warfare. For someone else, it will come as a message you did not expect. For someone else, it will come as a sudden idea. For someone else, it will come as the strength to let go. For someone else, it will come as favor in a place you thought was closed. For someone else, it will come as confirmation that your obedience has not been wasted. Receive it in the form God chooses. The form may surprise you, the timing may humble you. The process may stretch you, but the result will teach you that faith was not foolish. Now take this truth into your heart. You are closer than fear says. You are stronger than your last breakdown. You are wiser than your last mistake. You are not disqualified because you had to begin again. You are not forgotten because the answer took time. You are not behind because your process was hidden. God knows where you are. God knows how to reach you. God knows how to restore what was lost, redeem what was painful, and redirect what was confusing. Your job is to agree with faith, act with wisdom, and stop speaking death over a life God is still breathing into. Tonight, before dawn, let your mouth become a gate of blessing. Say, my mind is renewed, my heart is open, my spirit is guided, my steps are ordered, my life is not finished, my future is not cancelled, my dawn is appointed. Something big is coming to me by dawn. Say it until your body begins to believe it. Say it until your fear loses volume. Say it until your imagination starts to open. Say it until gratitude begins to rise. Gratitude is one of the strongest signals of faith, because gratitude says, I recognize goodness before I can control every detail. Gratitude does not wait until everything is perfect. Gratitude finds evidence that God is present even in process. Be grateful tonight for breath. Be grateful for protection you never saw. Be grateful for lessons that sharpened you. Be grateful for doors that closed because they may have saved you. Be grateful for the strength that kept you through days you did not think you could survive. Be grateful for the people who stayed, and even for the people whose leaving revealed what you needed to learn. Gratitude clears the atmosphere. Complaining magnifies lack. Gratitude magnifies grace. And what you magnify becomes larger in your awareness. Tonight, magnify grace. Not fear, not lack, not betrayal, not delay. Magnify the possibility that God is working. Magnify the truth that your mind can be renewed. Magnify the promise that morning can bring joy. Magnify the fact that you are still here, still breathing, still able to choose, still able to rise. That is not small. That is evidence. Now listen carefully. When morning comes, do not look only for a dramatic sign. Look for a shift in you. Look for the thought that feels clean. Look for the peace that does not make sense. Look for the courage that was not there yesterday. Look for the opportunity hidden inside responsibility. Look for the person God places in your path. Look for the door that requires effort but carries alignment. Sometimes the blessing comes disguised as work. Do not reject it. Sometimes the answer comes as responsibility. Do not run from it. Sometimes favor looks like a chance to prove your readiness. Step into it. A person who prays for increase must be willing to increase in discipline, wisdom, patience, and faith. This is why tonight is sacred. It is not only about what comes to you, it is about what rises in you. Because what rises in you determines what can remain with you. Now let the following words become your inner prayer. Lord, I surrender this night to you. I release the fear that has been speaking louder than faith. I release the pressure to understand everything. I release the need to control what belongs in your hands. I ask for wisdom, peace, clarity, and courage. Prepare my mind while I sleep. Heal what has been heavy. Awaken what has been asleep. Show me what I need to see. Lead me where I need to go. Close what must close. Open what must open. Strengthen me to obey. Let my dawn carry the evidence of your presence. Something big is coming to me by dawn, and I receive it with humility, faith, and readiness. Feel the peace of that. Let the words settle. You do not need to fight the whole night. You can rest. Rest is not weakness. Rest is trust. Rest says, I have done what I can do today, and I trust God with what I cannot do while I sleep. Rest says, my life is not sustained by anxiety. Rest says, heaven does not need my panic to perform its work. Some of you have been addicted to worry because worry feels like responsibility. But worry is not wisdom. Worry is imagination used against yourself. It creates scenes of defeat and asks your body to suffer them before they happen. Tonight, reclaim your imagination. Use it to see restoration. Use it to see strength. Use it to see provision. Use it to see yourself walking into tomorrow with peace. Use it to see God making a way. Use it to rehearse obedience instead of disaster. Your imagination is too powerful to be handed over to fear. Take it back. Before you sleep, see yourself waking with calm. See yourself receiving guidance. See yourself taking one meaningful step. See yourself smiling because your spirit knows the night did not defeat you. See yourself saying, thank you, God, I am ready for today. Then let go. The seed does not grow because you stare at it all night. The seed grows because it has been planted in the right soil. Plant the seed and rest. Dawn will come. And when it comes, remember who you decided to become tonight. Not the person who panics first. Not the person who speaks defeat first. Not the person who quits at the first sign of delay. Not the person who lets old pain make new decisions. You are becoming the person who pauses, prays, listens, speaks life, acts with wisdom, and trusts the process. That person can receive more. That person can carry more. That person can build more. That person can love better, lead better, Choose better and live with deeper peace. That is the big thing. And from that big thing, many other things can come. Provision can come. Favor can come. Healing can come. Opportunity can come. Restoration can come. But it begins with the inner shift. So tonight, seal this message with one final declaration in the comments. Write, "I receive my dawn with faith." Let those words be your closing agreement. Let them be a line in the sand between the old night and the new morning. And as you write it, know that you are not alone. There are people listening right now in different places with different struggles, different prayers, different burdens, but the same hunger for a new beginning. Your declaration joins theirs. Faith rises where agreement is formed. Now, as this message comes to a close, carry the truth with you. Something big is coming to you by dawn. Maybe it will arrive as peace, maybe as clarity, maybe as courage, maybe as instruction, maybe as a door, maybe as protection, maybe as provision, maybe as the sudden knowing that you are no longer who you were when the night began. Receive it, protect it, act on it. Do not wake up and return to the language of defeat. Do not wake up and resurrect the fear you buried tonight. Do not wake up and hand your mind back to chaos. Wake with reverence. Wake with expectation. Wake with attention. Wake with the quiet confidence that God has been working in places your eyes could not reach. If this message spoke to your spirit, like the video so it can reach more people who need faith before dawn. Subscribe to this channel if you want more messages that strengthen your mind, deepen your faith, and help you walk in purpose. And leave your comment. Something big is coming to me by dawn, because your words matter, your agreement matters, and your faith is rising even now. Sleep with intention, rest with trust, wake with expectation. The night is not your ending, dawn is already on its way.